G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is an FNX-45. This is a highly customizable standalone pistol type weapon with custom sounds. The animations, I've got to deliver a replacer for those, so they'll be looking pretty new. It's the Warfighter's workshop deliver a replacer animation, so if you're looking for an animation like that, I'll leave a link in the description below so you can download it for yourself if you're on PC. Let's get started with the attachments for this thing, and for the receivers, we've got standard, light frame, heavy frame, calibrated, so basically the same thing as you'd find on a Deliver a Pistol. We chuck that on an advanced receiver, we get 190 damage and an increased fire rate as well. Now, for the barrels, it gets slightly more interesting here because you can either have a reinforced one, which will give you a little bit more range and accuracy, or a barrel with a thread, which will allow you to attach muzzle things onto it, like suppressors or muzzle brakes for recoil control. So that's kind of interesting. We'll leave this one for threaded, but I will grab one with a reinforced barrel because having that extra range would be useful for a pistol like this. So we'll leave that as threaded, and we can move on to the next thing, which is the calibers. Now, it's got the 45 thing there, so I'm guessing that's its original chambering there, but you can have it down chambered to these rounds if you're running a little bit low on the 45s if you happen to be using this weapon. And so right now I've got the thread cap on the muzzle, obviously to protect the thread that is there, but we're going to pull the thread cap off and we're going to chuck a suppressor onto it, which will allow me to get a little bit of extra damage because of Ace Operator. Very helpful. We've got the Osprey Suppressor here, which does look like a 10mm pistol suppressor in this game, so that's kind of cool. I guess it also kind of matches what the slide looks like too. And we've got a legendary slot here if you want to chuck a legendary effect on it. But you can have some tactical options here, which I guess is just a laser sight, mini laser on the bottom, or a little flashlight on the bottom of it. If you enjoy using those immersive night mods where everything's super dark and you want to have a creepy atmosphere, going for a little bit of a tactical light on your pistols are kind of a cool thing. But I've never really seen the use of it. I think a Pip-Boy light is good enough for any applications in the vanilla game. And you can give yourself a laser sight, which is potentially useful. It also gives you a minus 40% AP cost with a pistol. They've already got a decently low AP cost as it is, so that's probably going to make it even better. And we can have a mounting plate on the slide here, which will be put somewhere. And that just moves the attachment slots, which I guess means we'll be able to attach some options here for the reticule, which is it's like, there we go. So this is what the whole reticule thing's about. So I guess with the extra attachment slot that I just put on, it allowed me to chuck on some of these reflex sights there. And let's go for, what's a Kingslayer look like? We'll just go with that one. But as you can tell, there's a lot of these things, and maybe this one. Maybe that'd be slightly better, but I don't recognize these things. Maybe they're from COD or something. But, yep, they're all kind of just reflex sights, a little bit of flavor on your weapon if you want to customize it that way. And you've got, hang on, let me just find out where I was. You can change the thing from a circle dot to a dot to separated circle dot or to a T. Let's go for a T. And there's iron sight options if you decide to use those things. You could actually have the glow sights on the iron sight, so you could remove them entirely. If you've got a reflex sight, you could pretty much get rid of them, but you know, you've got a customization option for the tritium, the glowing stuff that they put on the iron sights to make it easier to see in the dark, so that's kind of cool. Let's go red. That suits. And ammunition modifier. This is another thing which you can use to change how your weapon works slightly in terms of how it fires its bullets. We've got hollow point on the standard. We've got high velocity to increase our range and accuracy at the cost of extra damage. Armor piercing will get us better armor penetrating at slightly less damage. Flechettes or flechettes means you're going to be firing more projectiles, which will divide what damage numbers you are getting around. So probably not the best idea, but incendiary gives you an extra 75% damage basically for free there. So yeah, there's not much. Yep, this seems to be the highest damage option, so we'll just chuck the incendiary on. And you can change the color of this if you feel like it, and there are the options right there. Let's go for a grey two-tone on this one. And an extra damage slider is there if you feel like this thing isn't quite doing it for you. If I wanted to balance this, if I was playing normal difficulty, I'd do that, but I think 203 and 75 ballistic and fire damage respectively will be good enough. But yep, a lot of customization for this seemingly basic pistol mods, so it's some pretty good. Artie does some good stuff out there. Let's get started. Hold on, I'd like to amend something. You can, the reinforced barrel is just a gun nut upgrade. It doesn't take the muzzle attachment away, which I thought it would. So basically never go threaded barrel if you've got gun nut rank 2. Alrighty, so here we are in Gunner's Plaza, just a standard one. Maybe some extra spawns might come out of the woodwork, but this is what the FNX looks like in first person. Note the animations kind of hold it in the middle. Now, I'm not sure if these animations are inspired from anything new from the Modern Warfare COD games, because they might be, because the dude who made them, Warfighters Workshop, does a lot of the port mods. He grabs the weapons from Call of Duty and chucks them into the Nexus. He gets permission because the Nexus are pretty uptight about that thing. So we'll get started on these gunners here. We'll just get a little bit of hipfire action going because, I don't know, it feels like if you're holding the pistol like this, you'd be slightly better at hipfire than it would be holding where you'd usually see the deliverer. But one thing I notice about firing this weapon, and there's the reload animation, blink and you'll miss it, is that this thing can fire super fast. It's like it's got some sort of hair trigger installed into it. Admittedly, I don't know a lot about the FNX itself, if it's a real life weapon, but maybe it does have a trigger system where you can just smash it as fast as you can smash mouse button 1. I don't know. I think the recoil would get a little bit hard to control after a time, but I don't know, maybe Ella's practice. Alright, enough of this suppress stuff. Let's go loud and proud for a second. And we're going to do that while sneaking, of course. That's what it sounds like when it's loud and proud. Sounds pretty good. I've got a nice little muzzle brake on it to make sure the recoil isn't going to be too crazy. I think we just ragdolled that guy. Certainly did. And we'll quickly go around the corner here and blast this guy. Keep in mind we are playing on very high difficulty and we might be punching through the armor slightly better because I did grab the armor-piercing bullets for the ammunition modifiers on this. Tell you what, a nice shot of jet would do good right now, but I don't think we'll possibly need it all that much. We'll keep on going. There we go. Got a nice ammo capacity at 15. Combine that with the blazingly fast reload, which I'm fairly certain it's not meant to be that fast, but I've got the quick hand perk anyway, so that's fine. Well, it allows me just to spam this thing and output a whole lot of DPS, which is really good stuff. I'm liking the look and feel of this thing. The animations really put it together, I reckon. They synergize pretty well in terms of its quality, and always go up there for some reason. No, nobody's there. We'll go back in sneaking, see if we can't finish this off with a little bit more subtle sneaking. There we go. Yeah, looks like the way to run this is just, as always, with a suppressor ace operator, just getting sneak criticals because, you know, that's an MG42. Stop shooting me. Yeah, well, if you're getting extra multipliers from the sneak criticals, you might as well chuck on that extra 25% damage from ace operator. That's got to be the best perk in terms of the Nuka World gangs there. You just got to kill a lot of settlers to get it, so it's a question of morals, or if you're on PC, you can just give it to yourself. Okay, so here we are outside of the edge of the glowing sea, and this guy, he's just kind of around. Thank you, that's the monster. Show's over, go home. No, he's just a weird spawn that just happens to be here, but our real monsters are going to be what lurks within. Not a bees dick away, we'll find our first monster, so, you know, if you want to use this legendary respawning monsters mod, we'll show you where to find them directly. So you'll find this guy just here. We're in caution right now, which is not ideal, but what we'll do is, we've actually activated Ghoulish there. Apparently one of them, well, they tore each other apart. That's about what you'd expect from ghouls. But what we want to do is get this guy, make sure we're sneaking, and then we want to blast him with damage like this. Notice the fire damage over time is doing basically nothing to him. It's just an extra damage projectile thing. But yeah, look at that. Look at that DPS that I just got just then. If you spam the trigger and getting those 4.4 times multipliers, you can basically shred everything easily. And look at the AP usage on this thing. It's like the Deliverer, but turned up to 11. Took a way too long for concentrated fire to get going there, but we got there eventually. But the next set of monsters will be just around here, and you'll find lots of blood bugs, including a very big scary one indeed, which has eluded my bats for a time. It's around here somewhere. It's like an ancient vampiric blood bug thingy, but I think that's him there. Yes, that's the big guy. But we're going to take out the field first a little bit, just so we can focus fire on this guy, because once this guy detects you, he gets on top of you, and it's really hard to shake him off because he moves a lot faster than you can. So we'll just keep on backpedaling here, and things are going pretty well right now. We might be able to get away with this entirely without being detected whatsoever, and we've happened to break his pathing a little bit here, and since blood bugs in this game are guerrilla warfare experts, what he'll want to do is back away, but we popped out just as soon as he was making that decision, and we happened to get ourselves a bloodied ripper from that. Good show all around. That's a fairly decent drop, I guess, but yep. A quick devastation there, but there's more on the glowing sea yet. Aha, I think you see the silhouette in the distance masked between all of the radiation fog, the sulfur, and the Todd rays. But first, you know, we gotta have the appetizer here, a bunch of stingwings, which are normally kind of hard to hit, but if you're sneaking, they're not as mobile as they'd think they'd like to, well, they'd think they'd like to be. But anyways, this will probably be the same setup here, and we'll shoot it in the legs for slightly better damage. But once it gets nice in range, we'll go for the head because it's a little bit more personal that way. And we'll spam the trigger, and this thing will be dying very, very quickly. This thing, set up properly as a stealth gunslinger type approach, is going to be just a massive shredder. Get this going with a stealth boy if your stealth skills or your agility is a little bit low, and basically you win Fallout 4 with just a little pistol. Whether it's unbalanced is up for you to decide, and no, get out of there. You're getting the old pistol shredded, mate. No teleporting. Find that very offensive. And you dropped me an unyielding raider thingy. Well, that's cool, isn't it? Anyways, what have you dropped me? Bolstering. We're getting a lot of low health kind of things going on right now. Am I getting a sign from the universe? Who knows? Let's move on to one more monster, and this time we'll make it loud and proud. Okay, so in keeping up with using, I guess, fast-moving, hard-to-kill insects as a kill goal for this weapon, let's go ahead and check out this. This is a Stingwing Terror. I don't think he's been seen on the channel before, but we'll start off with a sneak critical here and see how long we can push the sneak criticals for. 2 whiffs in a row from bats there. That's unfortunate, but concentrated fire will cover the rest, and we are no longer getting the sneak criticals. That's perfectly acceptable though, because we're not using the suppressor. We're going to use VATS probably a lot during this, but a suppressor, we'll leave that on the floor. And we've managed to get ourselves hit first off. And the thing about this guy is, even when you're in slow motion, he'll get you. He's so fast. So we got to be sure to make sure we break his pathing, because although it seems like he's flying, this guy is actually... he's basically got invisible legs, so keep that in mind. And what you can do with that is kind of short-circuit his pathing a little bit, I suppose. And here he comes again on a straight trajectory. And we're getting yet more sneak criticals, so let's hopefully keep this up a little bit. That's some good damage right there. That's what we want to see. Don't want to execute criticals here, although we get better damage per shot. It'll slow down our rate of fire so significantly that we'll actually get less damage overall. I'm going to pop a buff out here because I think he's going to kill me. Yep. We've managed to go on a nerd rage here. And if he's flying into you as closely as that, you need to get the hell out. Launch yourself over here in slow motion and break his pathing again. There we go. Try to spam as much attacks as you can. Have we broken his pathing? He seems to love the guerrilla tactics here as much as I do right now, and he's backed off again, which is helpful. Back into caution again. Let's see what we can do this time on this VATS run. We still have Nerd Rage active, I believe. All those whiffs are killing me. Hopefully they won't kill me. There we go. That's the kind of damage you want to see with this thing. Go for a critical now, why not? Here comes the bullet. And striking him for how much? 537. Anyways, we'll just follow this up with Jet, because this guy's too hard to really bother with killing normally, to be honest. And honestly, Jet's awesome. Instant bullet time. You only have to inhale a certain thing. Just try not to think of what arse it came out of, because you can make it with cow poo and plastic. I think that's how they made it back in Fallout 2. They discovered that Brahmins eating particular proteins, and oh, can I finish this off without VATS? Yes, I can. And he has a little bit of a nice backflip as he's dying there. So yeah, I'm thinking, you know, you'd never find anything this tough to fight, but it is an example of what this thing can do. Obviously, when augmented with Captainoob, you usually do that, but I wouldn't usually take on this guy without a suppressor, so I guess it all balances out. But yeah, this thing is incredibly powerful outside of Atomic Galleria, by the way. That's where you find this guy usually. But yeah, the FNX-45, definitely a really cool weapon. And honestly, I didn't think this thing would be as good as it is. The customization options on this thing are a lot more than what I thought they'd be. The thing is super fun to use because you can just fire it as fast as you can pull the trigger, which, you know, adds a lot of... It just makes the weapon seem a lot more fun. And the actual punch out of this thing, you know, to make it a weapon worth using even into the end game. Great for gunslinger builds, great for anyone who wants a quality weapon mod. Good job, Ardent. I appreciate your work here. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Links in the description if you want it. If you want some cool free Fallout... not free. If you want some cool Fallout merch, I've got a loot crate link if you want to, you know, get some of that stuff at a discount. It's optional, but you can. Thank you very much for watching, guys. It's not free. I can't believe I said that.